Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of the Duo Group Iron Man. Last video, I just wrapped up by getting level 80 sailing, and that is the requirement for the Fremnik shipwreck salvaging. In the last video, I also did a bunch of exploring, had a lot of fun. I tried out the final tier of the Barracuda trials, the Gwyneth Glide, and I completed the first 2 levels to unlock the 3rd level, and I was getting some pretty sick XP rates, not even completing the time, just doing it very chill with a lot of mistakes. Still getting 170k XP per hour. And spoiler warning, watch the last video if you don't want spoilers, but I also got the suit pet. And that is pet number 30 on the account. If we look at all pets, there it is. 30 looks so clean. The plan for now though, I want to start off by doing that new shipwreck salvaging. I just unlocked the Fremnik shipwrecks. I have not tried it out yet. And I could have boosted prior to getting the level with the Whirlpool Surprise keg I have on the boat for the +3 sailing boost and maybe wear prayer gear with preserve, but I just want to get the level. With the level 2 Gwyneth course completed that I got done last video, I got the Heart of Ithil, which allows me to build the crystal extractor, which I briefly showed off in the last video, and I do want to talk about more in this video because it is so good. You can click it once per minute to get 600 sailing XP. And it is very important where you place this because it is very expensive to build, as you can see by these 2 magic stones in my inventory. And unlike construction, you can move the rooms around in your house. You cannot move the facilities once you build them. They're locked in place. So I have to be very particular about where I build this. Ooh, Spooked, I just got a thing from the Jubbly course. I think there's really 2 worthwhile spots to build the crystal extractor. It would either be next to your salvaging hook, so you can claim the XP in between your salvages while you're salvaging and don't have to run across the boat to somewhere else, or building it right here next to the helm so that you can claim the 600 sailing XP while you're sailing around and exploring and doing stuff on your boat. However, the majority of the time I would spend sailing around, at least for the way I plan to train it, would be at the Gwyneth course doing Barracuda trials. And for the Barracuda trials, you can't use a sloop. You have to use a skiff, the lower type of boat. And because of that, that means that that's the kind of boat where I'd want to have the extractor right next to the helm. Whereas on this kind of boat, this is, for me at least, this is going to be more for salvaging. I don't know how much of the bounties or other types of things I'll be doing, but I do plan to do a lot of salvaging. And if I'm going to be doing salvaging, it's going to be on this boat because I could have 2 salvaging hooks. I don't know if that is very clear. So to clarify, this boat will be my salvaging boat and my skiff will be my Barracuda trial boat. So I think for this boat, it makes the most sense to build the crystal extractor right next to the salvaging hook. And hopefully I don't regret this, or yeah, hopefully it's so expensive, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Crystal extractor build. Yeah, it's 2 mil worth of magic stones. Soup, no, you're stuck. Never mind. I went through that whole debacle in the last video to unlock ironwood and to get those cupronickel bars, but I got them now so I can upgrade to the ironwood cargo hold. I do need to make the wind catcher, or there's the higher tier one, the gale wind catcher, but I have to get the schematic and some other items, and I would just want to get to AFKing right now, so I'm gonna worry about that later. In order to be able to sail through the icy Fremnik waters, I have to build the eternal brazier on my boat. However, I can't build the eternal brazier because I need to get the eternal brazier schematics. First, we have to get the key, which is going to be dug up on this island. What do we have here? We've got some maple trees on the island. Wait, am I Soul Wars? Oh wait, I got lost. Bro thinks he's Christopher Columbus. Oh, why yes, Terror of the Soul Island. It is much more bountiful and fruitful than we all thought. Here we are, Terror of the Soul. It requires 61 sailing to get here. The docking point is over there. I've run up over here because I saw some yew trees and biles. You would think that because there's yew trees here, maybe he notes items, but no, he unnotes items for you. I think maybe Jagex tried to be cheeky putting the yew trees here to make people think that you'd be able to note the logs, but he unnotes them. And the reason why they added an unnoter guy here is because of this other guy, Sleeve McDykel. And his name is a reference to, I looked it up before, it's a reference to some old game. That is the name of a fake American player in the game Fighting Baseball for the SNES. But what this guy does is he will change the name of your boat. You don't get to pick the name of the boat, it's a random name. And each time you want to rename your boat or get a random name from him, you have to pay a glass of cider. So the unnoder is so that you can bring a big stack of noted ciders so that you can use one cider at a time on this guy until you get a name that you like and not have to go back and forth to the bank. I'm going to dig, I don't know where the exact spot is, here, here, here. We'll get it eventually. There we go. We got the small key. I mean, it's a pretty big key if you ask me. It's a lot bigger than it needs to be, really. Now we're taking off from Port Piscarius, going to the next place, which is going to be Buccaneer's Haven, directly east from here. That's where the lockbox is. There's a lot of stuff to build on the island, just like in the last video when I explored Sunbleak Island. I had to build the bank chest and all the other stuff. And all these bank chests cost 1 magic stone to build. I don't like that. But I'm going to leave the exploring of this island for another time because I want to get to building this thing. Read the Eternal Brazier schematic. I've now learned the thing, and that is a new collection log item. Lost schematics, 2 out of 10. I spent an amount of time I don't want to admit trying to find a facility to build a brazier, and I just could not figure it out. And it turns out it is not a facility. It is just a part of the boat customization here. So it's nice it's not going to be taking up a facility slot on the boat. But here's all the things. I did mine all these salts before sailing even came out, so I was all prepared for that. And the Eternal Brazier is now on the boat. It's a cute little accessory. I like it. I only have the materials to build 1 rune salvaging hook right now. I need to get some more cupronickel bars. But it's so late, dude. I haven't eaten dinner yet, so I'm just gonna... I just want to get out there and start AFKing. We are taking off from Port Piscarius once again to head over finally to the Fremnik shipwrecks. We're gonna be going north, and they're all up here. The spot I'll be going to is gonna be... I don't know exactly where yet. There's a double, at least one double Fremnik shipwreck spot somewhere around here. And it is my first time heading into the icy waters. We made it, not taking damage. Probably should have put a bit more clothes on. I'm sure it wouldn't be the first time you've seen someone wear booty shorts in the winter. Hey, look, it's narwhals. What time does the bacon narwhal? This must be the spot because there's other people here. They're both able to salvage this shipwreck at least. So we'll see when the shipwreck moves if they can both reach that one. Otherwise I'll have to do a little bit of trial and error maneuvering the ship a little bit at a time. Let's see how much XP we get. I'm gonna do this one myself to see how much XP I get when I get my own salvage. It is 150 XP. Jeez. And then when the crewmate gets it, it's 90 XP. That's so good. And then how much XP do I get for sorting the salvage? 75 XP. Yeah, the loot is pretty crazy. What is that out for? 36k. The other shipwreck has come up and they're both doing it. Sweet. And sold troll heads. I wonder what... Oh, I gotta hop. I wonder if I brought reanimation runes, if I'd be able to reanimate those for prayer XP. And I got the crystal extractor going, so every minute I can click on it for that free 600 sailing XP. Hey, look what I'm having for dinner. It's soup. Get it? Because it's the sailing pet that I got in the last video, and now I'm eating him. Or whatever. Thank you. On the wiki, it shows that depending on the tier of shipwreck, each one lasts for a different amount of time, although I don't know if the wiki is all that certain about that, because it says the Fremnik shipwrecks last for 3 minutes 40 seconds, but then if you go to the Fremnik shipwreck page, it says about 3 minutes 45 seconds, but yeah, it's around close to 4 minutes for the Fremnik shipwreck. The timer only starts once someone begins salvaging it, though. If someone starts salvaging it, but then leaves right away, the timer does still go, so even if no one is actively salvaging it once the timer is started, it sounds like it is still ticking down. However, if no one is there to start that timer, then the boats will not cycle. The shipwrecks all come in groups of 5, and there's always 3 out of 5 of them available, while 2 of them at a time are inactive. Hey, level 81 sailing. After spending a few hours here tonight, definitely not optimized whatsoever, doing it pretty inefficiently, really. Getting over 60k XP per hour. I can see everyone else's crewmates' messages popping up above their heads, and the sailing plugin does have an option to hide other boats' crewmates' messages, so that way you can only see your own. And now it is a lot quieter here. I do have some tips to share if you want to optimize your salvaging, which I understand it's an AFK method, so not everyone cares to optimize it. But if you do want to, one thing you could do is every time you go to sort at the salvaging station, you could assign your crewmate to the salvaging hook that you were just on, and doing that will not interrupt your sorting. And when you're done cleaning, you click on the hook and whoever you assign there will automatically be kicked off. For these Fremnik shipwrecks, since there's multiple kinds of seed, it would be worth bringing a seed box here to have them all in one inventory spot. Now that I have to hop worlds, I do want to show something. Before I show that, there's a plugin, the world hopper plugin. I think it's a default plugin. And by default, if you control shift arrow key, that will let you hop to the next or previous world. And you could change this hotkey to be whatever you want for hopping. There's another plugin called default tab. You know when you hop, it defaults to this tab, the world hopping tab. Well, you can change what the default tab is when you hop. And if you have it set to combat, like how I have it set here, then once I hop worlds, it will be set to this tab right away. And from this interface, that's where I can assign the crewmates where I want them to go. And every time you hop worlds, I believe you do have to reassign the crewmates. And that's what I do. Every time I hop, I reassign the crewmates and activate the crystal extractor. If the crystal extractor is close to filling up when I'm about to hop worlds, I'll just wait a few seconds so I can claim the 600 XP. You can see the XP tracker up here doing what I'm doing. I'm getting over 90k sailing XP per hour. But that is with me actively salvaging. If I were to leave the house for 30 minutes or just be away from the computer for 5 to 10 minutes at a time and I had both of them salvaging for me instead, and if all I did was clean the salvages and occasionally harvest the extractor whenever I come back to the computer, I'd probably be getting like 40 to 50k sailing XP per hour. It is kind of hard to quantify an XP per hour if you're doing this mega AFK because there's so many variables that go into it because everyone will be doing it slightly differently based on how AFK they want to be. I believe the higher your sailing level, the faster you catch the salvages, and I think also the better tiers of hooks you have will catch salvages faster. I'm barely past the minimum requirement for my sailing level, and I have a rune and an addy salvaging hook, so not even ideal, and I'm getting over 90k XP per hour. I'm still here, level 82 sailing. If every time you fill up your inventory, you go to sort the salvages, and every time you do that, you have to go assign the person to there to minimize your XP waste. What you could do instead is fill up the cargo hold with your salvages and wait until you get like 100 or 200 or get close to the cap, and then once you get close to the cap, then you start sorting all of them, and then you assign the crewmate to that hook, and then you could spend a few minutes going back and forth cleaning your salvages. If the only spell you're going to be using is High Alch, then you could equip the Bryophyta staff and the Tome of Fire and save another inventory spot with no rune pouch in your inventory. Yeah, there's level 83. I have not left this spot since I came here, and I've gotten another sailing level. There's 84. We've got the first game update since sailing has come out, and there's a couple things I want to show you from it. Sailing week 1 feedback and fixes, and the very first thing on here, something I talked about in the previous video, how there's that boat with the bank in the middle of the water, and you could just stand there on your boat, training bank standing skills while getting a passive 30k sailing XP per hour from the crystal extractor. Well, the crystal extractor now no longer works while near docks or the bank boat. They feel that getting passive sailing XP while being able to train bank stand skills goes against the spirit of sailing. I talked about last video how there is speculation that Jagex were going to be nerfing the XP from the crystal extractor, and today they are saying right here that they are in fact considering taking away some of the XP from the crystal extractor and redistributing it into other areas of the game, which will likely be a change set for next week as part of a wider XP review, but it's still 600 XP for now. Group Ironmen currently cannot share each other's facilities if they don't have that facility built themselves on their own boat, but that was an oversight that will be fixed in the coming weeks. Here's more of the future updates they're talking about that they want to change eventually. And this one right here is very relevant for salvaging. Let crewmates remember which task they were doing between world hops, which is so nice, or it will be very nice, due to how often you have to hop when salvaging if you're trying to AFK with the double spot. And I'm sure it'll be nice for other sailing activities too besides salvaging. I know I've spent a lot of time here over the last couple days salvaging, gaining a few levels, but I am now ready to go out, exploring, go on some more new adventures. And unfortunately, during my time here, I did not get the unique item from the Fremnik salvages, which is the smashed mirror, 1 out of 3,000. The rosewood seeds are 1 out of 3,500, and I got 3 of those, but I will come back here in the future, of course, when I want to AFK to try and get that. But just throwing all this stuff up in the price checker, and it's cool I got these seeds, these cotton seeds, I got to plant those. Also got 1.5 mil GP from all those helms that I alched, and 100 crystal shards from using the extractor. Before, I was getting like 12 hemp from each patch, but after today's update, I don't know if it's because of the update or what, but I've been getting like 40 plus hemp per patch. It could just be coincidence too. But yeah, I'm planting the cotton now. I'm going to need cotton to upgrade the mast. I'm going to ultra compost it to increase the yield. And the payment to protect cotton is 6 hemp. So far, I've only unlocked 3 of the crewmates, just these first 3. But since then, I've gotten the level to unlock quite a few more. So that's what I'm going to do before I go out sailing some more. I need to actually unlock the ability to use them. And the first one should be somewhere around here. Cabin Boy Jenkins from the Lady Lumbridge. It has been a while, my friend. Oh, it's you, Jenkins. Nice to see you remember me, seeing as you watched me die and all. I'm sorry, Jenkins, but why are you here? Suppose me business ain't done yet. Gotta find me a purpose or something. Maybe you could join my crew. Aw, I suppose it ain't like you can get me killed again. Next, we're getting oarswoman Olga to join the crew. Or to join the pack. Have a feeling Spookdog is going to like that one. She's also a fan of rough seas. I also forgot to mention that a lot of these crewmates do have requirements to them. Like for Cabin Boy Jenkins, you need Dragon Slayer 1. For Olga, you need an 8 of the Myarch. For this next one, I'm getting Jittery Jim. He is by the Anvils. He does not have any requirements. Well, they all have sailing requirements. He is level 70 sailing. Definitely read all the dialogue. Like with everything related to sailing, like it's all really, really good and well put together, and classic Jagex jokes and puns, millennial humor. I guess you could join my crew. There is there's Jittery Jim added onto the team. This is the last person I can unlock with my level. You need 80 sailing to unlock them, and you need up through the Hard Fremnic Diaries and Royal Trouble complete. And yes, I'm a big fan. You don't know me. I won 12th place in the Etceteria Boatswain Championships. Oh, now I remember. I mopped the deck on the fastest ship to complete the Karen circuit. Oh yeah, that's right, yeah. I was one of only 3 survivors on the first ship to almost damage the Sharhai. Given your skills, would you like to join my crew? Anything for another shot at the Sharhai. Alright, that's all the crewmates unlocked I can get. On the wiki, you can see the skills of each of the crewmates, and the only one with level 4 deck handiness is Cabin Boy Jenkins, which means he's the only crewmate that can use the dragon salvaging hook. And that means that you probably don't want to build 2 dragon salvaging hooks on your ship, because then you won't be able to have 2 crewmates working them at the same time for when you're cleaning the salvages or for when you want the 30 minutes of AFK. I want to build the gale catcher on my boat, and for that, the only one of the items I haven't really gone for yet is the swift albatross feather. These are a 1 in 30 drop from albatross, and albatross, like these monsters that you fight, you can get these as port tasks, like the bounty tasks. So maybe I should grab albatross port tasks so I can get Slayer XP while I'm going for the items I'm going to need to build the Gale Catcher. If I need 5 of them, then I would expect it's going to take me 150-ish kills. Privateering is the skill for firing the cannon, and there's 2 crewmates that have level 4, which is the highest level. Jim and Olga, and I'll take Syad to navigate the boat around. I have not done very much boat combat, which I guess you could tell based on the fact I only have 1 steel cannon on here. So I'm going to upgrade these. I want to build a rune cannon on this side and another rune cannon on the other side. I'm at Lunar Isle because I took a look at port tasks, and I do have the highest port unlocked, which is Lunar Isle at 76 sailing, and I believe the higher level the port requirement, the more XP you get from completing the tasks from that port, I think. And I took a look at the notice board. There is in fact an albatross task. I hope I'll be able to get the albatross tasks over and over each time I turn the thing in. And I like that RuneLite has the tooltip now. When you hover over, it gives you a lot of information. That's sweet. 1 item required, which is 1 in 10. They keep saying I can't find any ammo in the cargo hold. I know. I'll get on top of it. I'm going to put the ammo in there. You can store up to 2k at once. If you capsize, I believe you lose all of it, or a good portion of it at least. So maybe I don't want to have too many in there. They did make a limit for cannonballs, so you could only put in 2k at a time so that you did not lose too many of them accidentally. And here we are at the Albatross. With one of them navigating the helm, I can just turn the ship around very easily to maneuver the cannons how I want them to be, and the other 2 are working the cannons. And I think all I have to do is just click on the Albatross. I got a blowpipe and my range gear equipped. And this is how I'll be doing it, or trying it out at least. I believe there is a way to get both cannons firing at enemies at once if you have a monster right in front of the ship. And of course I gotta harvest the crystal extractor as I go as well for the 600 sailing XP. And then click on the albatross and we're straight back at it. I only have a bronze hull right now, and the hull increases the armor, which I think is like the defense of the boat. So I'll be taking a lot of damage. I probably should upgrade it. I don't have to upgrade to rune. Rune would be 400 runite bars. I'm eventually going to be getting dragon, so it feels like a waste to make these upgrades, but maybe I should at least make mithril or adamant. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. Got the repair kits as well. Oh, I got the task done already. Okay, I just got here. I'm only 2 in. This could take, I don't know. We'll see how often I get these, but this could take a while if I keep having to go back to Lunar Isle every time. I guess I could teleport there and just recover the ship and pay the 60k, but let's see how much XP it is though I get from turning in the albatross task. Claim rewards. 8,500, okay. And then will there still be an albatross task on here? Yes, there is. When I go back on the boat, the crewmates do stay at their assigned spot, so I think it's only when you log off is when they move from their spots. And I do really hope that they change that so that they stay in their assigned spots even upon logout. And it's pretty cool when you have one of them navigating with the helm, they trim the sails automatically for you, and you even get the XP drop. Here's the spot for the albatross, by the way. It is directly north of Lunar Isle. You may notice that the damage that I do, because I'm not using a cannon, just from the blowpipe, it is severely reduced damage, and because of that, it probably does increase your max hit if you were to use better types of darts, but I'm just using mithril darts because I have so many of them and I don't care about wasting them here. I don't want to use my amethyst darts. The bulk of the damage, I think, comes from the cannons though. Oh my god, I got it already, okay. Now actually, I'm just going to stay here and fight the albatross until I get the 5 feathers I need, or at least a few more of the feathers, or until I run out of supplies, because I don't want to have to keep going back and forth. I did not realize that was a collection log item. That's sweet. Yeah, there's the first swift albatross feather. Got that one very early. It's about 1 out of 30 and I got it at 6. The price checker isn't accurate for the GE prices, but I've heard these are selling for over a mil GP on the GE. I would imagine there's a lot of demand for them right now. This is what I mean. You gotta be very careful about summoning, because it says, it seems there's something in the cargo hold of the boat. If you summon the boat, the cargo will be lost. So I do want to go back to Lunar Isle to claim my cannonballs out of there. I was taking a lot of damage, so I will in fact be upgrading the keel to adamant. It's going to use 400 addy bars. For each inventory, I can make 5 of the adamant keel parts, and each of those 5 get turned into 1 of the large keel parts. And I have to do that 16 times. You can see where 400 bars would take a pretty big chunk out of my runite bar stack, but for the adamant bars is not all that big of a deal. Just so you know, the Prif anvil is 2 tiles closer to the bank, but I don't care. I don't think he's going to do that. And this is what the fully grown cotton looks like. And the name of the item you get is called cotton bolls. And I got 10 of them, so maybe they did not actually change the amount that you get. It's just my RNG being RNG. It's the same thing as the flax and the hemp. You turn 1 cotton boll into a cotton yarn on the spinning wheel, then 2 of them on the loom. And this is the highest level tier of hop in the game now. The 3 types of hops that they added with sailing were flax, hemp, and cotton. I'm going to upgrade the sails to the second highest tier, level 83. The final one, once you get the schematics, you'll see it's level 94, and you need dragon nails, so that's a little bit of ways off. I'm going to upgrade to the ironwood mast and sails. And the keel, of course, I'll be upgrading to adamant. The bronze keel I currently have gives me plus 70 hit points and plus 100 armor for the boat, whereas adamant will be plus 100 hit points and plus 600 armor for the boat. And I'll be able to go through the crystal water. So let's build that. It's lagging a bit. Okay, that's funny timing. Okay, we got it built. Or no, we didn't get it built. Okay, we'll try this again. Build adamant keel. How much XP do I get? 1200. The boat is taking noticeably way less damage now that I've upgraded the keel. So that's good. I'm glad it's working as how I thought it would without having looked it up, which I probably should have looked it up, but it worked out in the end. I see the boat armor is not the same as defense. The way armor works is for every 100 armor bonus the boat has, that gives 1 flat armor to the boat. Flat armor reduces the amount of damage dealt. My boat had 100 armor, or 1 flat armor before, which meant damage to the boat was reduced by 1. But now the boat has 600 armor, or 6 flat armor, which means damage dealt to the boat is reduced by 6. And if there's any monsters that have a max hit of 6 or less, then that would make my boat effectively invulnerable to those monsters. If an enemy is out of the blowpipes range, I can still have my crewmates attack them because the cannons have a farther distance, but my character won't be attacking. However, the enemies do come in closer to the boat, and I think they always come within blowpipe range, so once they come in a bit closer, then I could start attacking with the blowpipe, but just something to look out for. You don't want to always just click and look away, because then you won't be attacking with the blowpipe sometimes. I was looking on the map for the albatross, and there's a spot right next to this notice board on Etcetera, so I wonder if maybe that would be a bit more worthwhile to run the bounty tasks if there's an albatross task on that board. I have been timing this out, and it comes out to about 60 albatross kills per hour, and because it's about 1 out of 30 for the feather, that means you could expect 2 feathers per hour. And if you're going for the 5 feathers for the gale catcher, then it'd be about 2.5 hours total of these albatross, and that's with the steel cannonballs that I'm using. I wanted to chime in from the future to say that you could easily get even more kills per hour by attacking 2 albatross at the same time, because you can have each cannon attacking a bird on both sides, and by doing so, you're nearly doubling your kills per hour. You are quite literally feeding 2 birds with 1 scone. Looking at the OSR's Wiki price tracker website, we can see the actual real-time prices of these feathers. That's actually accurate and not just what the in-game price checker is saying. And you can see these feathers have been hovering around 1.5 mil. It was a lot more volatile the first couple days of release, but it looks like it's a bit more stable over the last few days, hovering around 1.5 mil. And if you're getting 2 of these feathers per hour doing the strat I'm doing, and I'm not even being like super efficient, I'm doing this pretty chill AFK, that means it's 3 mil GP per hour just from getting 2 feathers per hour. And you're still getting the sailing XP from the damage the cannons are doing, you're getting the sailing XP from the extractor, and you're even getting sailing XP if you're doing the bounty tasks. Spook Dog just brought me up some hot chocolate, so I'm all set to hunker down for the next couple hours killing these birds. Different kind of bird, it's fine, just close your eyes. Normally only 1 cannon fires at a time, but you can do this kind of wiggle to get them both to fire. So you're getting a little bit extra DPS. It seems a little bit sweaty, but you could do that. Hey, just got feather number 2, 54 KCN, so I'm about back on the rate. Oh my god. I went the wrong direction and there's a bunch of krakens attacking me. Holy. I came to Etcetera to check if there's any albatross tasks, and I do not have any available to me. But it is closer to get here from the dock, so maybe I'll just do this because it'll be faster to bank. I'm not really going for the port tasks anyways. Summon the boat here. I guess other people have the same idea about getting to the bird. Yeah, this is super close to the docks. Wow. I grabbed the albatross task from Lunar Isle. You don't have to fight the albatross that are by Lunar Isle to be eligible for the bounty item. I'm still not going to go out of the way to do these bounties right now, but that is good to know. There it is, the 5th albatross feather. Let's check the KC. It was 130, so I got slightly lucky. It should have been 150. Kind of crazy to think that these would be worth at least 7.5 mil GP if I was not an Iron Man type of account. To build the bank chest around the map for sailing, I've checked on this page and it looks like there's 6 different ones. They each require a magic stone. I built one of them already on Sunbleak Island, but I'm going to need at least 5 more. Well, 5 just for these bank chests, and I might even need more for other stuff, but I'm going to at least buy 5 magic stones right now. There was about 5 mil GP spent, and the thing that made me think about that is I have to get the gale catcher schematic, and one of the places I'll be going to is the Onyx Crest, which has a bank I have to build there, and I figure if I'm going there anyways, I may as well build everything on the island. I'm going to need some copper nickel bars because right now I have 0 and I have no nickel ore right now, so I have to mine some more nickel. And I think the best way to get nickel is by mining it on Deep Fin Point. I'm going to need that to build the gale catcher and to build the bank chests and a bunch of other things. There's some nickel rocks on Deep Fin Point, and there's a bank here that I think this one is a default bank that you do not have to build. There is a teleport that takes you straight to Deep Fin Point on the Sailor's Amulet, but you have to have been there once to be able to use the teleport, and I have not used it before, so we're going on the mission to Deep Fin Point for the first time. We made it. Now let's try to teleport to Deep Fin Point. Find the sailor's marker. Okay. I think I found it. That was easy. After inspecting the marker, you get the feeling that you could get back here with your sailor's amulet. Let's try it now. Yep, the teleport works. Where does it take us to? Sweet. This is very close to the bank, which is already built, and I can use it. We come over to this area. We've got the nickel, lead, gold, some other stuff. And there's giant ants. I shall call him Anthony. Dude, this island has to be huge for sailing locked Iron Men. This is probably... Oh, I didn't even realize Headcounter was here. There's a dungeon sign over here, and if we go into the cave, there should be a bunch of rocks, a bunch of ores you can mine, and also 2 bank chests that we can build down here. I got my magic stones and other materials with me. Here's what it looks like on the map. This thing goes pretty far. Here's the first bank chest space. Gonna build that. I can use that one. Ooh, there's some runite rocks. There's 4 of them here. And there is the second bank chest built. And there's a shortcut if we squeeze through here. Ooh, more nickel. And that is really close to the bank, and there's a ton of nickel, along with some aberrant specters that I do not want to get too close to without a nose peg on. Huh, I never knew this or thought about it because I don't really ever mine rune, but the mining gloves do allow you to mine a rune rock twice before it depletes. I don't even know why I'm mining this. I just saw it and the urge struck because there's so much blue. You never see this many rune rocks available to mine. I mentioned this the other day when I first went to the nickel. I was like, I wonder if the mining gloves work for nickel for saving it. But as you can see in the chat box, it was working for the runite. You would get that message if it saves. But for the nickel, it does not give that message. Already by default, you get 3 to 8 nickel per rock before it depletes, so I understand why they did not add the effect of the gloves to that. It's not really needed. To get to the Onyx Crest, I'm taking off from the Great Conch, and it is a very short drive. We made it. First thing I gotta do is build the bank chest, -1 magic stone, and now I can bank. There's 2 other things that can be built on the island. We have a water pump here, and just south there's also a furnace that you can build. Now the island is completely built. Ooh, that looks cool on the inside. I want to put a pizza in there. Oh look, it's a praying mantis. That's so cool. A very big praying mantis. Me and Spook Dog just saw a praying mantis on one of our hikes a few weeks ago. Do they attack, or are they gonna attack me for getting close? That's so cool. Now let's do the thing that we came here to do, which is dig up the key. Got it first try. There's a fruit bat here. I remember in RuneScape 2, one of the money makers I used to do, with the summoning skill, I would summon a fruit bat, and there's like the fruit bat scroll that would spawn fruits around it, and I would use that and pick up papayas and then sell the papayas on the GE. We are at the Angler's Retreat, where in the past I claimed the outfit from, I think it's from the Jubbly Jive. This is just south of Corsair, or south of the Myths Guild. And there's a few things I could build on this island. We got a cooking pot space. Over here, there is a spinning wheel space, and over here, there is a rowboat space. And this rowboat, I don't even know where it takes us. Let's find out. Takes us to, oh, back to Corsair. Wow, that is really useful. That's good too, because there's a hardwood tree patch here. So that's very convenient. You can maybe take the spirit tree to get close to Corsair or close to the rowboat, and then come here to check your hardwood tree. That is now the 5th hardwood tree patch in the game. There's the lockbox, open it with the key, and we get the Gale catcher schematic, which of course I'm going to read. I take in everything and then discard it. And that is another collection log item. 3 out of 10 for the schematics. You may have noticed in the past when I've been making upgrades to my boat, I've been doing a lot of it in Catherby because it's pretty close to a bank and to the shipwright's workbench. Well, now that I have Deep Fin Point unlocked, which I could have done a while ago, I just never got around to it. This is a very close bank to the shipwright and the shipwright's workbench, so I'll probably be making my upgrades from Deep Fin Point from here on out. I really do not know if it matters where you build this, because I'm thinking if I should build it there or there. It probably doesn't matter, I hope. I really hope not, because it takes 2.5 hours to get these feathers, but the Gale Catcher is an upgrade to the Wind Catcher, which I never even bothered building on this boat because I knew I would be able to build this upgrade soon enough. So the Gale Catcher, build 1.5k construction XP. No, Soup, you're stuck under the facility again. I still have that Addy salvaging hook, so I gotta upgrade that to Rune for when I go to AFK later. The lower version of the Wind Catcher would store up to 2 wind motes, but the Gale Catcher, this upgraded version, can store up to 3 wind motes, and then you can release them whenever you want. I'm kind of wondering now if maybe I should have built a gale catcher on the skiff, since you use that for Barracuda trials, and maybe it could be useful to have 3 of the wind gusts stored at once, but I'm going to try to not think about it too much because it probably doesn't matter. But next thing I want to do now is unlock the other teleports on the amulet. The last one I don't have unlocked yet, which is to Port Roberts. And Port Roberts is directly west from this Priff docking point. Either way, it's fine. Give it a month or a few months and they'll let us pack up these facilities as flat packs and build them on different boats. I hope. Here we are at Port Roberts, but we can't use the teleport yet because we do have to inspect the sailor's marker. And now I'll be able to use the teleport, and that has all the teleports unlocked on the amulet. This is interesting because there's a bunch of stalls in a circle with these 3 guards that move around every 10 game ticks. This is the highest tier one, the cannonball stall. So what you'd want to do ideally if you're like doing this efficiently and you're already 99 or 87 thieving is what you need for the cannonball stall. You would thieve this and you don't stop until you manually click off of it. So you would thieve from there, then go to the second highest tier of stall, which is the ore stall. You thieve that as like your secondary stall, but this would be your main stall. So as long as the guard's not on this stall, then you would thieve from it. But whenever the guard does come to this stall, right here, I'm gonna go over to the ore stall, steal from this one twice, and then go back to the cannonball stall. And if you get caught, you get put in the jail that you can either picklock or bribe to get out of it. Here's a really cool chart on the wiki that they've already come out with. So you thieve from your primary stall 4 times, and then you thieve on your secondary stall 2 times before going back to your primary stall to thieve it for 4 times. And with 87 thieving at the cannonball stall and the ore stall as your secondary one to thieve from twice, you'd be getting over 250k XP per hour at max efficiency. That's the max XP per hour. The normal mechanics of thieving from a stall don't apply here, where you can be in the line of sight of a guard and it doesn't matter. It only matters if the guard is looking at the stall you're thieving from. Let's get caught on purpose to see what happens and what the jail looks like. So I'm thieving, fade to black, and you wake up in the jail. There's the bribe jail guard, which costs 500 GP. Or you can pick the lock to get out. No thieving XP for that though. A little bit of a run to get back there. It says that when you're in the jail, you can use the sailor's amulet to avoid picking the lock or using coins. Oh, I was like, what does that mean? Can you use it on the door? That must, I think what they're saying is that you can use the teleport to Port Roberts to get out of here, and that brings you a little bit closer to getting back to the stalls. I see. Even though there's dragon cannonballs on the stall itself, which by the way, that is a collection log item, the dragon cannonball, it is not something you can actually get as a drop from thieving. Oh, I forgot I already got that collection log item, but just wanted to mention that. If you are thieving some of the other stalls, like the ore stall or stuff that doesn't stack like the cannonballs, and you want to bank it, there is a very close bank deposit box. Even after you've just stolen from the stalls, you are able to still trade the shopkeepers for that stall, whereas in other places around the game, they would yell at the guards to come over. I want to fight orcas right now because they drop an item that is a collection log item, the Echo Pearl, which is about 1 out of 70. And it's not because I need the item for anything in particular right now. I probably will end up building this thing eventually. I don't even know what it does. I just want a collection log item to go for it, and this seems like a pretty reasonable one. So I was looking up on the bounty board, Orca, and there's a few places that you can get assigned orcas from. I should have done this earlier with the albatross. I understand now a bit better how this works after seeing this, but you can just look up any of the monsters. It shows you right here the XP you would get from that task, and you can see from these orca tasks, it would give 9540 XP per bounty, regardless of which of these places you go to. And I checked a few of these. Edsatir is the only one that has orca tasks available to me right now. I don't know how this works, if there's like a rotation of available tasks for the bounties or what, but it's very fast to get to this spot, at least with the spirit tree. There's the orc task. I'm going to claim it. It's a 1 out of 2 drop. I have to get 6 of them. And it looks like the fastest way to get to the orcas is going to be by using the Western Banner 4 to get to Piscatoris. And they are very, very close by, just very slightly north. You can see them already. And this is where I'm going to be fighting them at. I could do that thing. These guys have a bit more HP, so if I want to, I could go back and forth have both cannons fire. Spookdog just got 73 sailing. Now she can also access the 2350 world, so I can't hide from her anymore in those worlds. I go to world 608 and be like, yo, Spook, hop to my world real quick. Engaging, sailing, PVM, content, firing cannons from both sides. No way. It's lined up perfectly so I don't even have to wiggle the boat and both the cannons are firing. Should figure out how to do that more consistently. I have finished the bounty task as I ran out of repair kits. That is really good timing. Yeah, that timing works out really well then. Because if this is about how often I'd have to bank anyways to get more repair kits, then it's not like I'm going that far out of the way to go back to the bounty board to grab another Orca task. Claim the rewards, 9.5k XP, and is it still there? Yes, I can get another one right away. Teleport straight back to Piscatoris, bank the loot, and do it all over again. Ooh, this time the cannons are firing at the same time. That looks really cool. Yeah, I guess all you have to do is line up the front of the ship perfectly with the Orca, and then you get the double cannon firing. I am almost out of mahogany repair kits, so taking a little detour to make some more so I can get through this grind getting the Echo Pearl. If the Orca is not in a double cannon spot, what I've been doing is I move the boat forward a little bit. It kind of gets pushed out, adjust the boat, and I just keep doing that until it gets into a spot where both cannons are firing. They did add new types of blowpipes into the game. They added camphor, ironwood, and rosewood, and those don't use Zora scales. They just use darts. So if you are worried about Zora scales, you can make one of the new blowpipes and only have to upkeep your darts. Although of course they are a little bit worse than the toxic blowpipe. Oh, I got it. Yes. Oh my gosh. 29 KC for the 1 out of 70. Is that a tradable item? It is tradable. All right, let's check the actual GE price of it. The real-time price it's going for is 6 to 700k, and these are not very highly traded at all, so the thing that you make with it must not be a very important thing, since you can see the volume is very, very low. It is nice to get lucky on that, because in retrospect, maybe I shouldn't be doing combat stuff like bounty tasks or some of the higher level sailing combat stuff until I get a rosewood hull, so that way I have the maximum armor possible on the boat. It is cool looking at this loot though, because it's the first sea monster I fought that actually has decent loot, like decent alkables and stuff that I can actually use and is somewhat beneficial to the account. And this was around an hour, maybe just over an hour to get this amount of KC, so just like with those 5 feathers, this probably would take about 2.5 hours to meet the drop rate for the Echo Pearl. I'm going to go back to Fremnik shipwreck salvaging for the rest of the night and hope I get lucky getting that unique item. Here's my sailing XP I've gained today. Pretty bad XP per hour, but I had a fun time. Seems like the XP and honestly almost feels like 99 is going to be passive just by going for all these collection log items. It would appear that even when I already have a seed in the seed box, this umbral frag, and then I get one from salvaging, I have my seed box open, but it does not go directly into the seed box. I do have to manually put them in there myself. Although you don't get the seeds too often from salvaging, so it's really not a big deal. And here's a sailing level. 85. Oh, I got it. The smashed mirror, the 1 out of 3,000, the unique that comes from the Fremnik shipwrecks. Yeah. Unfortunately, the loot tracker does not keep track of salvages, so I have no idea how many that took me to get. Now, I'm in a bit of a tricky situation here, because do I stay at the Fremnik shipwrecks, which is the highest tier I can do, and get the most XP per hour from AF King, or do I go to a lower tier shipwreck where I haven't gotten the unique from them yet, but then get less XP per hour? Decisions. I did end up staying at the Fremnik shipwrecks, so far at least, as you can see, and I got level 86. Oh, I just got a second mirror. I guess I kind of wasted my RNG. Well, it has come to that time once again. Thank you so much for sticking around 40 plus minutes into the video. I really appreciate you being here. I guess you could even say I'm thankful for you. It's American Thanksgiving today. But with that said, I will have Spookdog's most recent GIM video linked below in the video description. Thank you again so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you again next time.